Welcome everyone. My name is Denis Godreau. I am the country manager for Intel Canada. First, let me say a big thank you for the siberXchange organization for having me and putting this great event together. It's not easy when you look at the actual context to put such an event together. Second, I'd like to say big thanks to all of you for being there. So we are all facing challenging time right now, whether it's personally or professionally. And I really appreciate you investing your time with me today. The good news for all of us is crisis always end. We need to be, just need to be ready for it. And this is what my talk is all about today. What I would like you to do now, it's basically, I would like you to close your eyes for a few seconds and think where you were around late December, early January 2020. Now imagine you were reading the economic sections on your favorite website or newspaper. If you open your eyes, this is what you will have been reading at that time. There was no real recession that was planned ahead of us. World Bank was predicting GDP growth even better than 2019 at 2.5% worldwide. The job market was booming and was still hard to find the right resource and skills if you were a manager or leader or own an organization. If you were about to finish university this spring, you probably had few offers lined up already for you when you'll be done with your college. The Olympics in Japan, the Euro football tournament were all to happen during this summer. As an IT industry, our core message still a few months ago and for the past few years was that as a society, we were facing the beginning of the fourth industrial revolutions, which was a fusion of the physical, digital, and biological world. And we were just at the beginning of that fourth industrial revolutions. First wave being the coal and steam in the mid-18th century, second one about electrification, the third one with computer and communications. But what we were saying was that each of them being shorter in time and each of them transforming and reshaping complete industries, business model, business process, and creating the emergence of new competitions. And if we look at the fourth industrial revolution that we were talking for the past few years and still a few months ago, the key drivers, since we're just at the beginning, were like the internet, mobile computing, and cloud computing. And we're looking that was more around the corner, and they were already making some inroad in our organization and transforming organization and our society. Things like the artificial intelligence that we see every day in the news, 5Gs, IoT, autonomous machine, augmented reality, and blockchain. Every organization and everyone has a plan for digital transformation. Some were slow, some were faster, some were losing, some were winning. But you know what? Everyone has a plan until they're punched in the face, to quote Mike Tyson. And this is what happened to all of us worldwide with the pandemic. Basically, in a matter of few weeks, our world completely turned upside down beyond what we can imagine. The global economy went down to a level never seen since the Great Depression. Entire industry were partially or completely shut down in few weeks, way beyond what we thought that was possible. But what we've seen so far with the global lockdown, most organizations took care of their people first to make sure that everybody was safe, everybody was healthy. So they cut travel, cut events, clear policy on what you can do, what you cannot do. Second, they did what they need to do to keep the business running. We've all seen the movement with working from home, securing the supply chain, and basically every organization, what we have seen is like people chasing laptop like crazy to enable the working from home, that the business can still stay open and we can still operate. Figure out how to manage those PCs, because now all our fleet is working out in the field, inside people's house. And people wake up from the cyber risk, the compliance, the privacy issue that we're seeing with that. Also, people looking to enable better communication tools, video conferencing that we're using today, and improve by manyfold, I would say, the network and the VPN capacity of their organizations. As Intel, working with different partners and customers, whether it's a government, a bank, a telco, that's what we have seen. And the third thing is IT really step up. And the resulting in many business still able to operate in letting people to keep their job. The big aha moment in this was for many leaders and business owners, the importance of technology and the importance of their IT people. I believe the quote from Satya, Microsoft CEO, captured very well what happened. What we have seen as an industry, as an organization, is 2 years of digital transformations in pretty much 2 months. Now, if we look ahead and try to figure out what is ahead of us, what will happen to organization, private or public? What will happen to the mission? Why we exist? So why we're here, where we're going with the vision, or priority, or goals. What about the strategic plan that we put in place at the beginning of the year? So, and where we should invest, how we should transform the organizations. A lot of unknowns. But there's one thing that we all know is when there's a challenge and difficult time, that opens the door to opportunities. But the question is, which organizations will thrive in the crisis? I believe former and legendary Intel CEO, what he's saying is pretty clear. Who will thrive? The bad one, the bad organization will be destroyed. The good one will be okay, but the great one that can capitalize on challenge and the opportunity will open up, they will thrive. They will be ready to transform and really to leverage what's happening. I and we, Intel, don't have a crystal ball. But what will be the key factors to thrive in this new reality? The jury is still out on the shape of the economic recovery. It's going to be hockey stick, V, a U, a W. We don't know. But one thing is sure, simply assuming that the world will go back like before, if nothing happened, this is inconceivable. There's too many things that have changed. Just think about the consumer behaviors, right? I can give you a personal example. My parents, they're like 80s, both of them living in small town north of Quebec, and never really much have bought or done anything online other than checking Facebook and looking at the news a little bit. But with the lockdown, so they had to do their grocery, they had to buy stuff. And now they say, you know what, that's pretty cool, that's pretty easy. So they won't go back the old way. So they have changed their behaviors, even they're old. And customers now are okay with what I call the click and pick. So we have seen that all over the place with that models. Also, the importance of the supply chain and the resilience that is needed in our supply chain, whatever your organizations. And what will be also our view of the globalizations with everything that happened. On top of that, you had all the remote working. For many organizations, there was no questions of doing remote working. And suddenly, it's okay now. There's no impact on the business, we're good, so you're still doing your job. But what will be the impact on real estate, on how organization and office are set up, or where people live? If you don't have to go at the office every day like before, because now it's okay. So now the traffic pattern may change, where you're living may change. Like I said, I and we don't have a crystal ball, but I believe that the one who shall thrive, the one with the agility to survive and master the new environment, they will be the one that can move very quickly and quickly adapt to this new environment. And they're nimble and they can change the organization, the process, the model. The new world risks to be way more complex and way more volatile for the past few years that we have known. So the ones that have the ability to handle unusual events in the future will clearly have an advantage. Also, the ones that will thrive are the ones that understand the importance of information technology and that will master the digital transformations. Like I said a few slides ago, if you look what happened and for the organization that were able to transform themselves and adapt to the reality, they are already in better shape than the one that completely had to shut down their business. I'll give you another example. So I'm a big cyclist and I used to go to a specific store to buy all my gears and everything. So, and during the lockdown, I was looking to buy a new bike and all those stores were closed. And I look my store where I typically go, they had a website so I can go and look, but there was no real capability to see their inventory, no capability to really chat and interact with someone. So look around a little bit and finally found way smaller store. So, but I was able to have access to a chat, see the inventory, and they exactly had the bike I was looking for. And chatting with the guy and say, yeah, absolutely, we have it in stock. So give me a week to set it up. Just go there, we can pay just the taxes and we'll schedule a pickup with you and that's it. So, and that's what happened. So it's not necessary that you need to be a big business organization to be able to capitalize and realize the importance of the IT and digital transformation. So even the small one can do that. So I believe it's really the time for organization now, but also for individual. It's not just about the organizations, it's also the individuals to really do a strategic pivot and to transform their organizations. It's time to do a strategic pivot to play offense. Couple of advice. Organizations need to leverage all the different scenario building tools that are available to start to figure out what can be the different scenarios and contingency plan that you need to put in place. Whether you're using a pestle where you look at all the political, economical, social, technological, environmental, legal aspect on it and see what can happen, and you build scenario 1, 2, 3, and you build KPI in place, indicators that tell you, okay, we're going toward scenario 2. Here's our plan based on that. Or you're using a heaven and hell scenario. If everything goes wrong, what we have to do and everything. But you absolutely have to build different scenarios based on your organizations. You also have to look at different, I would say, high potential industries. We all know around the world, government are investing right now helping people, and also they will continue to invest on the, I would say, the traditional industry that we see typically government investing in rough time, whether it's the public sector, constructions, or even more today with education, with telehealth, with e-learning, or healthcare with telehealth. So we'll see more and more investment, as we know, in those sectors in the years to come. But also in telecom, anything related to supply chain management or helping with the resilience of the supply chain will be sector that will see a lot of investment and transformations. Also, anything related to digital transformation enablement, the IT infrastructure, e-commerce, augmented reality, robotics. As we all know with the change, or what I can call reverse globalization, So we'll see people bringing inshoring stuff instead of offshoring. So productions and want to rely less on people if something happens. So will be probably a lot of investment in robotics and improvement in productions. Virtual meetings, everything around IoT and Industry 4.0 will be a key element or key industries. And the third thing is organization that realize the importance of information technology and will be able to capitalize on that transformations. That will be a key element. IT is no longer a department inside organization. We have been seeing that for years. Some get it, some were not getting it at all, some were trying and kind of starting to understand the role of IT, but now it's pretty clear that IT is now the platform to unleash the potential of the organizations in the new context and the new reality that we're facing right now. So what I would like to do is to take a few minutes to dig a little bit more in details on what we mean and what we mean by this digital transformation and the digital transformation building block of the platform, since now IT is the platform, the foundation inside the organizations. So the first block, which is super important, which is the foundation of the organization itself, is the digital platform itself, your IT infrastructures. You need to build or transform your platform, your digital organizations to be modern, scalable, on demand, and everything, and need to be ready for the new culture of work. And I put here on or off, so it can be on premise or it can be off premise, because we all know things are going to change and you need to be able to manage and do work from whatever you're located and whatever your employee are located, because things will change. And with that, like I said before, will come the, would say, built-in risk of cyber risk, compliance, privacy that come having people working remotely and don't have the asset with you at the office all time. Also, we are seeing already a big move and acceleration to the cloud. Again, on-premise, off-premise, public, private, multi-cloud, but the cloud giving you that flexibility, that elasticity, agility to span and move things and grow things super quickly and dynamically. That's critical for an organization and it will be key moving forward. Same thing, having the platform, your data lake, all the tools to provide advanced analytics and leverage AI as it is today, and even more moving forward, to be able to predict and see those scenarios I was planning, that you see what is happening, where things are going, that you think make you move before things happen. That will be at the foundation of your digital transformation, to build that hardware and software platform from a client point of view, data center point of view, and the networking, that you can compute, move, and store all those bits and digitalize your organization as much as you can. The second building block is what I call that you need to digitally enhance your production, your product, and services. Whether you're building something, you're selling something, whether it's a good or a services, you need to digitally enhance that. If you're at the factory floor, you need to move toward the Industry 4.0 for all the different reasons I just mentioned, right? So that you generate all that data, you're more automated, more efficient, and that you transform your process, but also your business model. But also you need to capture all the data, not just to improve your production line and everything, or your quality of your product, but you can create new business model using the data that your product or service are creating. And you don't know, let's say you're a company building air exchangers. So you put sensors on your product. So all the data that you have that are with all the devices that you're installing all over the place, that data can be useful, it can be monetized for other type of business, new model can be created, new services can be used for that. So that's what you have to think. It's not just data to see the quality of your product on monitoring is that the data that you can capture can create new business models. You really have to digitally enhance product production and services across the board. From the third piece is you really need to digitally create a digital experience and a network. What I mean by that is from an employee point of view, so to be able to hire the right talent, to develop and to retain the right talent via a modern workplace. And like I said, that workplace can be at the office, but also can be outside, off premise of the office. Again, world is changing. It's not just nice to have a nice open space. That will change, by the way. Nice office, nice cafeteria. So some people say, yeah, I'm willing to go there 2 days a week. I want to have a nice work environment, a workplace, modern workplace, when I am home. What are you doing for me? So that's what you have to think and enable. Same thing with interaction with your customers. Back on the example I was giving you, small business, so can create rich value-add experience, leveraging technology that will enable them to be super dynamic and capitalize on whatever happened in the organizations. And you need to create that ecosystem that will help you with all the partners, suppliers, everything that are on your business. That at the end, you can create a platform, an IT platform that will really be able to, that you can leverage your IT as a platform to be super resilient, agile, and safe in your organization, and you can capitalize on the transformation that's happening. Few things on my closing thought, and those are applicable, I would say, whether you are in organizations, but also you as an individual, as a professional, whether you're an employee, a manager, a leader. First thing, you really have to grow your digital IQ as an organization, as a person, for your team. What's going on? What are the technology that change everything, can change a lot of things? Which are the one that can help us to be more agile and more performance in our organization? And you need to also do the work to envision and design what will be the future in this new reality I just explained to you. And this is changing every day as we're seeing it. So you need to be able to adapt to that. You really have to start your professional and your business transformation now. So on the new reality. So don't stand still. So make sure that you learn, and you grow and you transform your organizations. And you really have to be ready for the new culture of work on and off premise, whether as an employee or as an organization, because this is really here to stay. With that, so I'll take a few minutes out of the quick keynote that I did to you to look at some of the Q&A. Let me just look at the some of the question that I got here. Cloud versus on-premise for smaller business. What would you recommend? What is more cost efficient if you're just starting up a small law firm, for example? So it really depends of where you are in your, I would say, maturity of your organization, okay? So if you're looking right now at deploying completely brand new organizations without any IT infrastructures, so for sure, probably the easiest way to do that will be to looking at moving to the cloud off-premise, because there's probably a lot of offering existing, different software that you need to run a law firm that are already on the cloud as software as a service, and that will give you able to give you some cash flow because you don't want to spend on capital on anything, just making sure that you equip all your employees with the right device, all the right tool for collaborations, but your backend can probably be all done on the public cloud with a good provider that is, I would say, vet by your association as a lawyer, that all is the privacy and everything that's taken care of. So, but there's many law firms running from a public cloud, and that will give you all the flexibility and pay as you go, as you grow your law firm, right? And as you are building and growing your organization and your capability and your knowledge, will be up to you to decide if you move stuff back on premise and keep the on-core business off premise. Because right now, that's one thing that we see in larger organizations. We see a big move of using the cloud, that flexibility and all the different tools that we see from the different cloud provider, but keeping the core critical stuff on premise inside their own data centers, still cloud-based with all that flexibility and moving things around, and keeping the on core stuff or less critical stuff, HR, the travel things, I don't know, T&E expense and things like that, to using a package software as a service on private cloud. So that, I would say, that's probably a good way to start your new business. I'm looking here and it's okay. So inside, what could company, more specifically companies that are not heavily reliant on technology, have equipped themselves against COVID-19? What can they do to prepare against the next pandemic that sends more than half of the workforce home? So basically what we have seen, like I said, so the first thing is you have to make sure that you can run your business, right? That's the first thing. And you need to decide, okay, so my core business, I'm selling a product or offering a service. Can my people operate from home? So, and you have to make the right investment for that. What we have seen first is like people went crazy buying a good quality device, laptop that they can, because just surfing the web is one thing, but when you have to create content, you have to connect and do video conferencing between, even if you don't interact with customer directly, video conference, but you will have to interact with your team and using video and different tools to exchange information, everything, that's pretty heavy on your system. So we have seen many people say, oh my gosh, I need to refresh and update all my devices because I need way more capability on my organization. So that probably will be a good thing. So making sure, imagine a scenario where something again happen or a second wave in the fall happen, and that you again have to move everybody. What can be done that can be done digitally from your team point of view and from your core business services? Can you help and reply to customers? Because just doing email, that's not working. So it's taking too long. People were overwhelmed. So we have seen that you need something better and more up to date as far as this kind of transformation. Okay, maybe one quick question before we end up. So don't you think that the drastic nature of digital transformation for most business will pose a lot of flaws as they were mostly not properly planned? That's a good question. So I believe, if you recall at the beginning, I was talking about that or move to the digital, the fourth industrial wave, and that we're just at the beginning of that with the event of like mobile computing, the wireless, and the internet and the cloud specifically, and everything as a service. We're just at the beginning of that, and there's more transformation. So, and people say, with the pandemic, how everything will be on hold. And what we're saying is probably the opposite, because now people realize I've been able to keep my people employed and keep running my business because of the IT transformation. And I've seen, like I say, like Sadia said from Microsoft, we have seen more transformation super quick. For sure, what organization need to do now is step back and look and say, okay, we did all those things super quick. What can we do now better and better plan? But for sure, so what we believe, and I believe, is we'll see more an acceleration of that when people start to look and say, because that's what help and save a lot of organizations for being shutting down or laying off people because they were still able to operate. That was good information to all of you. I will highly encourage you to stay tuned for the presentation from my colleague Yasser Rashid, so which will be talking on modernizing your information security with hardware-based security to really address today's and tomorrow challenge. Thank you so much, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you.